probably not the safest thing I've ever done in my life, but you know, sometimes the really fun things are just not that safe. That's been my experience anyway. What's up, everyone? Today on Passion Projects, I'm going to share my e-bike that I built, and I'm basically gonna run through why I did it, why I built an e-bike, what I did, where I got the parts, the prices, and I will leave links to everything in the description down below if you want to see what parts I chose and all that. So without further ado, let's get started. My name is Carrie. This is my channel, and this is the bike. So what we have here is an iZIP Express frame. That's what the frame is. And this came from eBay. It was on auction and I ended up getting it for $78, which is a squealing good deal. So basically when I bought this, it was the frame, the seat, the handlebars with nothing but just the handlebar, none of this stuff. This rear wheel, and you see this chain here. Originally it had a motor on it, so this was originally actually an electric bike, and the other half of this, or the motor that connected to this wheel back here, was right there. I took it off because I didn't really have a controller for it, and the wattage wasn't what I wanted. It was just the wrong setup. Plus I heard it was super loud, the original model of this bike, and I didn't really want to deal with trying to work with all of that. And also it was missing, there's a whole secondary unit that's connected with the motor here, with the controller and the battery and everything that was original to the bike, and this was just gone and I couldn't find it anywhere online, which is why I ended up with the setup that I have here now. So now the bike is powered by this motor, which is a voilamart motor. It's a 1000 watt motor, 48 volt, according to eBay, according to the guy I bought it from. And then this battery is a 48 volt, 20 amp hour battery. And this setup, I top out at 30 miles per hour using the throttle only, which is here. It's a twist throttle. That's what I put on it. The power button is here. Boom. Currently it is at full charge. It honestly seems like this screen should display more than it does, but it really doesn't. It just has full and empty. It's a pretty basic setup. I'll probably put something nicer on there eventually, but right now this works. So yeah, 30 mile per hour tops, and everything else I had to get separately. So this fork, which is an Origin 8 fork, I believe, I bought online, as well as all of the gear, which is primarily deore XT. So if you end up doing what I did, you're gonna want mountain bike gear if you're trying to match the original stuff. Everything on here originally was deore, the baseline deore gear, and I have deore XT pretty much everywhere except for the rear derailleur, which is XTR, which is top of the line, and in the case of my electric bike, totally useless, because I use one gear, and that is what I think is the lowest gear. It's the hardest one to pedal. That's the only gear I use, because when you're going 30 miles per hour, it's the only gear that does anything. So if I want to pedal, that's the only one I can use, unless I have it at like half throttle or something, but honestly I just don't do it. I use full throttle and I pedal a little bit to get going, and when I get up to speed and the pedaling stops doing anything, I stop pedaling, unless I'm going by a police officer, in which case I pedal so that it looks like my bike has a pedal assist. And even though this actually comes with the setup for pedal assist, this voilamart motor, which actually came, just so you guys know, this came with the motor and the wheel. The whole thing is a unit, and it was for, I think, $160. But yeah, it had a pedal assist option But first of all, I didn't really want it. I was like, pedal assist, I mean, could be fun, but why not just have a throttle? And also, the directions were all in Chinese. And there were pictures, except the pictures were for setting up a different pedal assist model than what actually came with the motor. So I didn't understand it, and I didn't feel like doing the digging, doing the research needed to put together a part of the motor that I didn't want to use in the first place. So I just didn't do it. What else? Oh, check this out. So this rack came with the bike too, also, I should say. The $78 one I got on eBay. So I wired this little basket on here, which I picked up at the Ebike Reuse Center, which is basically just a secondhand shop around here. But they have a lot of stuff that regular secondhand shops don't have. I feel like they have more of a selection when it comes to just odds and ends and also building materials and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. If you live in Ithaca, it is worth checking out, or even nearby. What else is important? These two bags, I did have to rewire stuff just a little bit. So inside of this triangular bag is the battery as well as the controller and a spare tire tube. And I don't know if you can see the hole here, but basically the wires, it was kind of sticking out of here, like the plug-in wire for the battery to go to a motor. It was just kind of hanging out of the bag, which to me didn't make any sense. I don't know why they did that. So I cut the wires and put all of that stuff inside the bag, wired it up, and now I just have one small wire which goes from the motor into the bag instead of a bunch of wires sticking out of it like they originally made it. Which still, it's beyond me why they did that. I don't know what they were thinking. I guess they were thinking it would be plugged into a separate bag or something, but that was just too many wires and too much stuff in my way. Plus, it's not stealthy at all. It doesn't, it's like obviously there's electrical components, and I mean, I guess it's pretty easy to tell anyway to a trained eye, but I thought it looked better this way. And it's more weatherproof, So let's see here. I also bought this little bag here, which is a weatherproof container just to hold my phone. I don't know the area super well here. I'm kind of new to Ithaca, and I'm not even going to be here that long. So I put this on here so I'd have something to put my phone, wallet, and keys in that is also weatherproof, and also which would allow me to use the GPS in case I was going somewhere that I didn't know how to get to. Which is happening less frequently now that I've been here longer, but originally I didn't really know where I was going when I was moving around here. So what else? Yeah. I also had to buy this. I don't know if I said that. Not only the pedals, but also the chainring and the cranks. All the gear had to be bought separately, which ended up being a real pain. So just, if you do get this, it's a great deal on the frame. It's a really sturdy frame, and if you're getting it like I did for under $100, it's hard to beat, But you just need to consider that you might spend a lot of time finding the actual gear for the bike, the rest of the mountain bike equipment and brakes and lines and shifters, and then putting it all on took forever. If I were to do this again, I probably won't unless I end up building one of these for someone else. I would use an already fully assembled bike. It could be road or mountain, truthfully. I like the sturdiness of the mountain bike, but it could be either one. And I would just put the battery on, put the motor on the front wheel, or maybe even the back wheel, and skip doing all this other stuff, especially since it's superfluous. It's extra. I don't use the gears, like I said. So the only other things I wanted to show you, this isn't really a big deal. Helmet, that was like $25 investment or something. But the locks, I want to talk about the locks. So I have two. First, there's the utility lock, which came from Amazon. It's like 20 bucks. This thing is not bolt cutter proof, but it's a great quick lock, and it's pretty wide. I don't know if you can tell, but just so you have some idea. It's a pretty wide lock. So I could easily lock up 2 bikes with this thing. I typically use this if I'm stepping inside briefly. I'll just lock up the front wheel that has the motor to a bike rack, and it goes around the frame and the wheel and everything really easily. For longer, like when I go to work, I will lock it up with this big lock as well. And this thing is really not messing around. I'm sure a talented lock picking person could open this thing, but most people can't. And it's essentially bolt cutter proof. There's a video of a guy jumping up and down on this chain for like 10 minutes with huge bolt cutters and just barely leaving a mark. This is a Paywag chain. It's a 2-foot chain. It's the shortest one. It's a little short, but I'm glad I didn't get a longer one just because it weighs so much that it's already kind of a pain to deal with. And I think it's a 13 millimeter square chain. And it's weatherproof, you know, so it's got some kind of, I think it's zinc coated, either that or it's stainless. I'm not exactly sure, but it's really hard stuff. It's a great lock. If you have questions, if you have comments, if you like this, or if you dislike this, you feel free to express your opinions below in the comments. I'm going to be making a number of passion project videos. This is one of them. And yeah, check them out. If you want to see more, subscribe. If not, be on your way. And have a good one. Yep. Peace.